Peace, blessings, and a whole lot of love. This is your girl Hadi. I want to talk a little bit about being an introvert. Oh, I burn sage, but I don't have no more sage. And then I will use this as my backup. But I have forgot the name of it, so I found out the name of it. Hold on, let me go look it up again. Plalo, P-A-L-O, Santo, C-A-N-T-O. The wood sticks that you can burn to cleanse your aura, your energy, environment of any negative energy, basically. So when I run out of sage, this is my backup. Okay, let's talk a little bit about being an introvert. My experience. I when I was growing up, I was always quiet. I never really wanted or felt the need to be popular. I never felt the need to have a bunch of female friends. Um, when I was a teenager, it was always just me and my boyfriend. My first real boyfriend was at the age of 16. Got serious around 17. I want to marry him. But I had two friends that I, socialized with, but I never felt the need to hang out with a lot of females or be around a lot of people when I was a teenager. And I used to hear people, my mom's friends were saying that I was mean because I really didn't have conversations for anyone. Unless you probably was a relative or someone I was close to. So as I got older, I started hearing the term that I was antisocial. And I used to think that I was antisocial until I decided to look up the word, which I'm going to do right now. Antisocial really is like a mental disorder. So we're going to look at the word antisocial so we can clarify that right now for those individuals who are introvert and people who don't understand and maybe calling them saying that they are antisocial. I swear to God, it look like that closet just opened up. Hope there's no spirit in here, but I'm not scared. I do see spirits from time to time. So if there's a spirit in here, I'm going to ask the spirit, to tell the spirit I do not feel like playing right now and going about your business. Antisocial. What's the definition of antisocial? Let me see. Because I used to say I was antisocial. It's the unwilling or unable to associate in a normal or friendly way with others. That's not me. I have good social skills. I do have associates because there's a difference between an associate and a friend. I have a lot of associates. I may hang out with associates, such as my coworkers from time to time, but it's not that I have a house full of people or people knocking on my door. And I'm going to tell you now, never come knocking on my door unannounced because you will not get in. I will not answer that. Not much of a phone person. The reason why I got a cell phone is for my children, basically, and for work. I don't be on the phone while hours a night talking to people. I'm not into small talk. I like stimulating conversation, and I like being around people who are involving, who just about bettering themselves and just have certain characteristics. I am a drama-free individual, and I can't be around people who are going to bring out the worst in me. And I have always been like that, and I never knew my personality type until I got older. And I learned that my personality type is an introvert. And my husband, my first husband, I could say he was introverted too. Second husband was more of an extrovert, the center of attention. Got to be the center of attention. And I remember going to my mother, being at my mother-in-law's house, and my mother-in-law, they gave parties and things. And I always found myself in the room where my husband would be out there mingling and being a center of attention. And he felt he would come in the room and come get me to bring me out there to be with him. Guess what? As soon as he turned his head, I was back in that room. And that would go on throughout the day. I'll go in that room, he'll come and get me, and I'll go back. And he had to learn I'm not a people person. I like people, but people do tend to irritate me because I like being by myself. And if you like being by yourself, then you don't want to be smothered by people. And I do get irritated very, very fast. It has gotten better since I've learned a lot about who I am. But yeah, I'm not antisocial. My personality type is introvert. Like, I can get up in this video and laugh and joke and share my personal life. But if there was a bunch of people in this room, I would not be able to do that. So let's go on, and let me show. I want to look up an article so I can share some signs of being an introvert. Signs of an introvert. I have a little bit of extrovert in me, but not much, which means I do have a tendency to may want to go out and mingle, but it's not for long periods of time, and it's just very seldom. I went out last night with my significant other and my son, and we went to a lounge where they have some drinks, listen to some music, and they was playing pool. And as soon as I got there, I really didn't want to stay, because once the place started, more people started coming in. It was like, okay, I'm ready to go, because this is going to drain me. And everybody was ready to go. They understood what I was feeling. It was like, okay, my energy is going to be affected, so I got to go regroup. And we went on home. So 21 signs that you're really an introvert. The secret lies of an introvert. And you can go online and you can also take tests and find out what type of introvert you are. I did that too. Yeah, I took the personality test. So you can take that too. I'm going to take that after I do this video. Okay, 21 signs that you're really an introvert. Let's see. Have you always felt different? Like I said, I used to feel that something was wrong with me until I began learning who I am. Were you the quiet one in school? That was me. Did people ask you, why don't you talk more? Yes. Do they still ask you that today? Yes. If so, you might be an introvert like me. Here are 21 signs. Number 1, the most important one for me, is I enjoy spending time alone with my music, with my laptop, with my ideas that I want to create, with my books. That's just who I am. I don't feel the need to be on the phone socializing. I don't feel the need to be on social media all damn day. I don't even have a Facebook page anymore. I deleted that. I love doing my videos. And I can talk a lot in videos and share my personal stories, share the things that I'm learning to help others. But I could never do what I'm doing in my videos in an audience where there's a lot of people. I don't do that. I don't do that. So it says you have no problem staying at home on a Saturday night. In fact, you are looking forward to it. To you, Netflix and chill really means watching Netflix and relaxing. Or you may be reading, playing a video game, drawing, cooking, writing, knitting, or whatever you prefer, solo activity. Whatever your prefer solo activity is, you do it as well, as much as your schedule allows it. You feel good when you're alone. In your alone time, you feel free, and that's true. People, situations drain my energy. I don't like small talk that is not beneficial to the people that I'm conversing. And I seem to get irritated real fast. And I have always been like that. Number 2, you do your best thinking when you're alone. Your alone time isn't just about indulging in your favorite hobby. It's about giving your mind time to decompress. When you're with other people, it may feel like your brain is too overloaded to really work the way it should. In solitude, you're free to tune into your own inner monologue rather than paying attention to what's going on around you. You might be more creative and have deeper insights when you're alone. I do not need or feel the need to go outside of myself and look for answers to anything that may be going into my life. I'm an interpersonal, which is in. I'm not interpersonal, which means out. I look for answers within myself instead of outside of myself through other people. Now, maybe once in a while, I may ask my children for their opinion, or I may ask my partner for his opinion, but the need to talk to other people for their opinions does not do anything for me. I do talk to myself, and no, I'm not crazy. There's nothing wrong with talking to yourself. I am the receiver and the giver of all the information that I need. Number 3, your inner monologue. Come on, the phone is freezing too. Your inner monologue never stops. You have a distinct inner voice that always runs in the back of your mind. If people could hear the thoughts that ran through your head, they would, in turn, be surprised, amazed, and sometimes horrified. Whatever their reaction might be, your inner narrator is something that's hard to shut off. Sometimes you can't sleep at night because your mind is still going. Thoughts from your past haunt you. This is so true. I can't believe I said that stupid thing 5 years ago. Or I'll be like, why did I do so and so when I knew I shouldn't? I have a tendency to analyze the situation that I have been in. I do that a lot. That's number 3. And sometimes I'll talk to myself and I have a tendency of talking out loud. I could be doing it walking down the street. I got to catch myself. I have done it at work, and I definitely do it in the house. And my children will be like, I just can't with Mom. Who are you talking to? My partner will be like, who are you talking to? And I'll be talking out loud, and he be saying, what you say? And I'll be like, I'm not talking to you. He will, would you stop talking out loud? Then because I'm thinking you're talking to me. Number 4, you often feel lonelier in a crowd than when you're alone. Oh my God, it is so... You ever... See, for me, being in a crowd does nothing for me. Like, it really does anything for me. I don't feel at peace. I get irritated. But when I'm by myself, it is just so peaceful. Like right now, my daughter's in her room with her girlfriend, her best friend. And my son downstairs in his room. We do, and I think my whole household is introverted. Because we do not have a house full of people coming over. The whole house is introverted. Now my children, my oldest daughter, she go out a lot. So she's introverted and extroverted. But the rest of my kids are introverted with a little bit of extrovert. So it says you often feel lonely in a crowd then when you are alone. There's something about being with a group that makes you feel disconnected from yourself. Maybe it is because it's hard to hear your inner voice when there's so much noise around you. Whatever the reason, as an introvert, you create intimate moments and deep connection, and those usually aren't found in crowds. And I do a lot of self-reflection. That's very, very important for me mentally as well as emotionally and spiritually. Number 5, you feel like you're faking it when you have to network. Walking up to strangers and introducing yourself is not what I like doing. When we have our summer trainings, and we got to stand up and introduce ourselves to the other people from the other sites who we may not work, I avoid that. I stay in my chair and let them come over to me. I don't get up and go say, hi, my name is Amanda. I work with such and such. I let them come over to me. You'd rather stick tiny needles under your fingernails, but you know there's value in it, so you might do it anyway if you have to. Except that you feel like a phony the entire time because that's not who I am. I'm not the type of person going to get up and go introduce myself to anybody. So that is being fake. Number 6, you're the last person to raise your hand when a teacher asks for volunteers unless you feel really comfortable with your classmate. In school, I used to ask to go to the bathroom right before class discussion. I will put my head down when I see the teacher looking in my direction. And to be cool during the class really hurted me. Like, it really hurted me. And even in my in group meetings when we do our training, it's the same thing. I don't feel the need to be answering questions. They ask questions, I'm looking around for someone else to answer the question. That is so true. It says you don't need all that attention. Likewise, you're probably not the student shooting your hand up every time the teacher asks a question. You're content just knowing that you know the answer. It's not that I don't know the answer. I know the answer. I just don't feel the need to share it. You don't have to prove it to anyone. At work, this translates to not saying much during meeting, what I just said. You'd rather pull your boss aside afterwards and have a one-on-one conversation or email your ideas rather than explain them to a room full of people. And when they put us in groups of 3 and 4 to work on a question, I don't mind writing down it, but I'm not presenting it. You're better at writing your thoughts than speaking them. That's true. You prefer texting. Like, my strange husband, he's more of a talker. Like, I'll text the hell out you. I don't mind texting. Even the person I'm seeing now, he'll call me. I'll call him when necessary. But the majority of the time, I would just text him randomly throughout the day. When my phone don't freeze, it's murder. Okay. It says you prefer texting to calling and emailing to face-to-face meetings. Writing gives you time to reflect on what you say and how to say it. It allows you to edit your thoughts and craft your messages so. Plus, there's less pressure when you're typing your words into your phone alone than when you're saying them sometime in real face-to-face. And I do realize that there may be a lot of things I may want to say. And when I gotta speak to the person face to face, I might not say everything, or my thoughts may not come out. But if I can write them, then I can take the time to edit what I'm typing and get all what I want to say in typing it. Number 8, likewise, talking on the phone does not sound like a fun way to pass time. I am not a phone person. I really use my phone. Phone calls are for my supervisor. If I need to call to say I'm gonna be out of work, which I can just text that. Cell phone is for my friends, not my friends, my children, basically, and even though my text. And it's for my partner, who I text throughout the day. So she was writing, the author of the article wrote, one of my extroverted friends is always calling me when she's alone in her car. She figures that although her eyes, hands, and feet are currently occupied, her mouth is not. Plus, there are no people around. How boring. So she reaches for her phone. Remember to practice safe driving. Kids, 2 hands on the wheel and 2 eyes on the road at all times. However, this is not the case for me. When I have a few spare minutes of silence and solitude, I have no desire to fill that time with idle chit chat. Yeah, I don't like idle chit chat neither when it's not stimulating me and you just talking about nothing. That is just so irritating. You avoid small talk whenever possible. I don't want no stranger come up to me and try to hold a conversation. Like my sister would tell me how people will come up to her strangers and start telling me life story. Look, don't do that to me. Because I'm going to look at you like you're stupid. And besides, I like to have headphones on my ear when I'm walking down the street or traveling on public transportation because I really don't want no one coming up to me asking me anything. I don't want no conversation with that at all with a stranger. And then I had this coworker. On our break time, I would sit there, I would warm up my lunch, I would be on my phone, I would put my headphones on, and she would see my headphones in my ear and still trying to hold a conversation. The whole time, I'm ignoring her like, don't you see me with headphones? Which means I do not want to have a conversation with you. But she never understood it. She was still talking, even though I'll be ignoring her. You've been told you're too tense. You don't go to parties to meet new people. You shut down after too much socializing. This is so true. Recent research shows that socializing is tiring to both introverts and extroverts. That's because socializing expends energy. Not only do you have to talk, but you also have to listen and process what's being said. Plus, you're taking in all kinds of sensory information, such as someone's tone of voice and body language, along with filtering out any background noises or visual distraction. It's no wonder people get pooped out, but introverts likely tire faster than extroverts. In fact, after hanging out for several hours, you might experience something called an introvert hangover, like a hangover induced by one too many giant fishbowl margaritas. You feel sluggish and ilky. Your brain seems to start working in exhaustion. You cease to be able to hold a conversation, say words that make sense. You just want to lie down in the quiet dark room and not move or talk for a while. That's because introverts can become overstimulated by socializing. Let me sit down. And it's hard to be in a social situation with someone who want to talk your damn head off. And I try not to be rude because I do wear, when I'm feeling about a situation or person, right on my face. You can tell I'm aggravated, irritated, or whatever. And it's kind of hard to not show that with a person who do not understand who you are. You notice details that others miss. You can concentrate for long periods of time on things that matter to you. You live in your head. Oh my God, is this so true? In fact, you may daydream so much that people have told you to get out of your head and come down to earth. That's because your inner world is just so alive and vivid to the outer one. I'm always in my head. Number 16, you like to people watch. I observe. Especially when I first meet someone. I observe their body language, the way they talk, their interactions. That's me. And it says, actually, you just like to observe in general, whether it's people, nature. Introverts are natural observers. You may find us hanging out on the edges of a party, just watching rather than in the thick of things. You have been told you're a good listener. You have a small circle of friends. My circle of friends is, like when you write a period at the end of a sentence, that's my circle of friends. You don't get high off your environment. That's the reason why big parties aren't your thing. Introverts and extroverts differ significantly in how their brains process experience through reward centers. You an old soul. Introverts tend to observe, taking a lot of information and think before they speak. We are analytical. I can't even say this word. Like I said, I like to analyze things. We're analytical and reflective. I do a lot of self-reflection. A lot of self-reflection. I analyze a hell of a lot. And we're often interested in discovering the deeper meaning and underlying pattern behind events. Because of this, introverts can seem wise even from a young age. You alternate between being social and being alone. Introverts relish being alone. In our solitude, we have the freedom to tune into our inner voice and tune out the noise of the world. As we do this, we literally bring energy in life itself. Being introverts don't always want to be alone. As human beings, we want to connect with others. And as introverts, we long for interaction meaningfully. So introverts live in two worlds. We visit the world of people, but solitude and the inner world will always be our home. And this article was taken by introvert, dear for introverts and highly sensitive people. Peace, blessings, a whole lot of love. I'm mumble jumble on my words right now because my intention wasn't for this video to be so damn long, but it is. Peace, blessings, a whole lot of love. Now you understand who Miss Hadid Getty is.